What's going on? It's your boy Masta be here live from the MMB Radio Studios for the MMB Radio Podcast. No topic is too big or too small. And on this episode of the podcast, I have a woman who I've been targeting for a while, have her on here. She is a hustler, honey, a penthouse pet, a 3-time AVN-nominated actress, adult starlet. We're going to get into all the details of what the formal tagging of that all is. That's Celestina Bloom. How are you?
I'm good today. How are you? And I love that you called me that Celeste. Yes, and that helps simplify my name because a lot of people mess up my last name. You would think they would mess up my first name more. It's Blooms with an S.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I said Bloom, you know what I mean? It's just Blooms, you know what I mean?
So you could just call me that Celeste.
That's
Keep
Celeste, you know, it's simple, you know, and as I mentioned, I've been targeting you for a while, and we were just talking off air about how we're scheduling is crazy, but I've been wanting to have you on because I reach out to a lot of my listeners and I ask them, like, you know, suggestions. Who would you like to hear from? Who would you like to hear on the podcast? And your name came up a lot of times. So
wow,
you're pretty high demand, you know, like, yeah. So we got you
nice.
on. So I'm excited to have you on and talk to you and kind of get to know you and everything. And I kind of teased there, like, all right, so adult starlet, porn star, adult performer. I feel like there's so many names and labels and tags. Personally, I'm not much of a label person. I just feel like, you know, a jack of all trades here.
They all work. It's like whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, what is really, you know, do you prefer? Do you get offended when someone says, you know, or mislabels you as something that you're not? Or
I really don't get offended very easily. If they're talking about me, I'm happy.
Any publicity is good publicity, you know, like either talking good or bad about you. It's always good.
Exactly.
The adult entertainment world. So a lot of people listen to podcasts. They know we have a lot of adult entertainers on the podcast, and we always love to hear people's stories of how they got started into it because people have so many unique different ways of how they got started in this world. First off, before we get talking about how you got started in the world, let me ask you why you chose this realm of employment.
Yes, a very hot question for sure. So honestly, my biggest go-to answer for that is that I'm just a super huge pervert, and so I just feel like this is the best career for me, and I could like do other things. You know, sometimes I brainstorm about other lives or alternate universes or whatever, but I think this is the one where I'm having the most fun. So I just consider myself to be just extremely lucky that things have worked out so well for me.
Yeah, I mean that's a crazy thing to put on like an Indeed, you know, search or you know, a LinkedIn and everything. You know, huge pervert looking for, you know, part-time work, possibly open to full-time. But
exactly.
Now, like growing up, were you always just kind of like a pervert, or? And mind you, these are her words, people. You know, these are her words.
I call myself a pervert, yes. No, growing up, I was very sheltered and controlled, and I was not able to explore that side of myself much at all. In fact, I lost my virginity at 19, which for some people is quite old. And let's see, what else? The first kind of porn that I was exposed to was actually books. It was erotica, and I was like slowly having to piece together how sex worked because I was super horny, and I was like, how does this all fit together? And yeah, and I didn't even watch porn until like I think later than a lot of other people my age. I feel like a lot of them will watch it younger, and I watched it a little bit later. So I think it was just because of how like repressed I was that I had to spring in the other direction.
I was about to ask that. Like, do you think that because you were so like sheltered or kind of grounded that you know, that influenced you to like want to seek this stuff out? Like, how did their erotica books and, you know, that stuff just kind of like fall into your lap?
Oh, well, I was homeschooled, and I obviously didn't have those laying around, but the only place that was like a place I was able to go to was the library, and this was a particular library that did have a lot of adult romances and even dirtier, darker things than could be considered adult romances. So I was very lucky, or I don't know how some people might be like, oh my God, how did this happen? But I'm very happy.
She had a library card. That's how it happened.
I didn't check out the books though. I was worried somebody would, be like, oh, you're not allowed to have those
True.
books. So I borrowed them secretly and brought them back.
See, I didn't even stumble into that section of my library. I mean, we had National Geographic, and if you saw like a titty or something pop up on a picture, you were like, oh shit, dude, look at this, and then it's like, but yeah, I mean, so you got into the erotic of books and everything, and then like the first time you ended up having sex, 19, so obviously a lot later than most people. Was it what you thought it was? Was it everything that you read in the books, or was it completely different?
Well, so yes and no. The sex, I really enjoyed, obviously, my first time having sex, so I'm like, oh my God, all these feels, these chemicals, like, I must be in love, this is amazing. But I was a little bit disappointed by the kissing, because it turns out I didn't actually have chemistry with the person I lost my virginity to. I found that out later after starting porn and having chemistry with people, and then being like, oh, that was why.
So explain to everybody how this transformed into the porn world, because I say to people all the time, as much as I talk to adult talent on the show and everything, I don't know if I could ever pull myself to the point where I am getting fully undressed in front of people. Like, I mean, I hate getting just measured for a suit or something, or like have to like go try something on in a store. How did it just happen to be that, you're like, hey, you know what? Fuck it. I'm taking my clothes off. I'm going to do this. And it's just easy peasy. Or was it not that way?
Well, yeah, you're bringing up the nervousness aspect, or the comfort level aspect. And I think for me, it has to do with the fact that I was kind of, I guess, like, you could say in any given moment, basically as soon as I, moved out on my own, and even to this day, in any given moment, I could either be very anxious and nervous about a situation, or I overcompensate in the other direction. So and that was kind of the route that I went. And I was like, if I'm going to get anywhere in life, I need to really go out of my comfort zone. And so that was what I did. I was just like, okay, I just need to just embrace all of it. And then I would just like flip a switch in my brain. And I'm kind of good at that, at putting myself in a specific headspace. But did you want to talk about like the specifics of how I got into?
Oh, we want all the tea. We want all the tea.
Right.
We want to know everything. These people hit me up and they're like, you need to have her on the show, so we can't disappoint them.
100%. So when I was 18, I was still living with my parents, and I didn't have a car or anything, and I'm trying to figure out how am I going to make money, and I was researching things about the adult industry, kind of learning about the different aspects, learning about stripping, learning about porn, learning about like webcam models, all of those things, but I didn't have the ability yet at that time to do anything about it. So as soon as I moved in with that first boyfriend that I lost my virginity to, super wholesome person. We think of him fondly. But anyway, so I started webcam modeling on this like super cheap, super low quality like computer with this horrible webcam. And I was literally just sitting there on webcam, literally not doing anything. And no wonder I didn't make money. But I was then being exposed to all these people in the chats talking about their kinks, and I was just fascinated by all these different aspects of sexuality, and I wanted to go deeper into that world, but I still, again, wasn't sure really how to go about it. And also I needed to have more life experiences. I needed to learn work ethic and stuff, which I didn't have yet at that time. So I went to trade school and gained some life skills. I actually got a degree in massage therapy, which is kind of relevant, kind of not, open to interpretation. And funny story, when I was finishing massage school, I was still in school, and that was when COVID hit. So I wasn't able to complete my training in person. I had to do it over Zoom. So that part of the curriculum is definitely not very strong for me.
But at least you had experience already with a webcam. So, I mean, it's like, hey, the Zoom thing, wait, I just got to do this with my clothes on? Okay.
Exactly.
Same
yes,
kind of thing,
Yes. And so then, obviously, now that we're in lockdown, I went back to trying to webcam again. And this time it was, more familiar. Like, I feel like I had a little bit more experience under my belt than a lot of people who were just starting out for the very first time due to COVID. I had that little bit of experience, to give me that leg up. And OnlyFans was becoming popular around that time. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe I should explore that idea of uploading content instead of just live streaming, because if you don't have a good internet connection, live streaming is like not very good. So I was like, oh, if I just upload it, I don't have to worry about like all the complications of live streaming.
I feel like you're explaining my whole podcast.
Exactly. So I had a TikTok account that blew up for some topics around bimbofication and wanting to be sterilized. Those were the two things that made me blow up on TikTok. For those who don't know, bimbofication is a fetish that revolves around the transformation into a bimbo caricature. But the trend that was going on TikTok wasn't about that fetish. It was just about like the lifestyle aspect. So I was able to kind of thread the needle between the two things and whatnot. But that account got taken down. It got suspended like so many do, sadly. And I've lost so many of those old videos. I feel so nostalgic for them, but like they're all gone. But around this time was when I got scouted by a porn agent. I won't say specifically who, it's not super important who they were. They weren't very big in the industry, but it got me in the door, and it was like a dream come true for me, like that was a possibility. Like, I was like, wow, all these things that I've been researching all this time, I could actually just like go and do it, and they are like trying to make this happen. Okay, heck yeah.
And then what happened with that? You just grabbed onto an agency, and then did they just line up gigs for you?
Exactly. Yes, they just lined up gigs for me, and I would travel to LA, travel to Vegas, and
this is the first time you've traveled before, or like
actually,
you said you didn't have much experience with things, so I'm like, okay, she probably hasn't been on many flights, and
that's actually true. Yes, I technically had traveled, but I hadn't been on actually really any flights. There was a video of me like on TikTok saying I'm flying for the first time, and it's also COVID, so I'm trying not to get sick, and I had bought one of these like weird like mask things that was not a mask, but it was basically just, think of like a fishbowl, but with like sunglass like things that you could put over your ears, so it's just the front of your head is just in a fishbowl. That was what I was wearing in this video, and so people were laughing at me in the comments of that, because it's like, you're not going into space.
I mean, the first thing you said when you mentioned that you're talking about the little masks, is the first two things that popped into my head were, you said like the little coon thing. I just thought of like when they put like the coon around like a pet when they get like spayed or neutered or whatever, and they gotta like put the little cone around him. But you said it's like a fishbowl, right?
Yeah, think of it like it goes over like your ears like glasses, and it's like half of a fishbowl, and it just covers like your face, and so that
So,
you
so did you look
can
like
like.
Sandy Cheeks or something off like SpongeBob? Like, are you like walking
Yes,
around with
exactly.
like?
That was what I was looking like in this TikTok. I was like, I'm flying for the first time, and like, so everyone in the comments is like, yeah, just making fun of me, obviously.
Hey, you know what? It was a crazy time. Like you couldn't be too safe during that time, and it's ironic that you say a lot of people at that time were getting into OnlyFans, and it was I seen an influx, and I feel like this gets mentioned in almost 90% of my episodes about how people got started, especially with newer talent, how they're like, I went through COVID, things got shut down, had to make some money, decided I'm just going to play with myself online and make some money. I didn't have that luxury. Nobody wants to see me play with myself. But it worked out for you. But I
It
wonder.
did work out for me, but thank God that I like have been so lucky in the mainstream world, because as far as OnlyFans and like that aspect and other similar sites and uploading your own content, that side of it, because a lot of people go that route and they think that they're going to blow up just on that. And it has taken me literally years to like feel like I'm actually making any money at all on those platforms. So like it's not what people think. I just want to put that out there.
I say it's oversaturated. Like everybody jumped on that
Exactly.
craze and was like, I mean, even me with doing podcasting, everybody has a podcast now. It's like I'm interviewing like some of my guests are podcast hosts of their own. I'm interviewing podcast hosts who are on a podcast about a podcast. Like it's like so many different layers to it. So,
What
definitely
has
with
this
the
one come
webcam game is
to?
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the game is so crazy now. Like everybody's trying to get on board with this. But one of the things I also want to ask is, I mean, you mentioned that you didn't watch a lot of porn. So, but were there anybody that when you did start watching it, was there anybody that you kind of like took pointers from, or people that you were like modeling yourself after, or just an admirer of?
I can definitely list a few people that, off the top of my head, that I would say were inspirational. I don't think I've like modeled myself after anybody. I would say I'm trying to become the future version of myself. But some people who are inspirational, Goth Charlotte, I definitely watch some of her stuff. She does some really hardcore things, so very inspirational. Who else? Ivy Wolf, or maybe it's pronounced Wolfie. She's very hot, very like in tune with her sexuality and like all of those things. That's so cool. Let's see. Who else? Let me see if I can list like one other person. Oh, somebody's trying to call me. I can't answer them right now. Go away. All right. Well, the only other person that's in my brain right now is Angela White, but mostly because people kept saying that I looked like her. Mostly when I had darker hair, they were saying that. But she just got
Yeah,
stuck
I
in
can
my
see
brain.
that. Yeah, I can see that. But it's cool that you were
Yeah,
trying to be unique and be yourself because I mean you don't want to be a Celeste. You want to be the Celeste. Um, so
exactly.
yeah, so you want to be you want to be that Celeste. You don't want to be a Celeste. So yeah, I can respect that your own uniqueness. But let me ask, what do you think makes you unique and stand out? What do some people say to you? Like you saying that people thought you looked like Angela White, but like what are some of the things that you think make you stand out from everybody else?
Well, so let me think. Well, I like to think that my interest in the bimbo kink is definitely something that's very unique, because a lot of people who play around with that niche, they usually have a very different aesthetic, and they'll have like the super inflated plastic surgery and whatnot, and I'm not against that, and I'm also not saying that I will never go in that direction. But because I'm currently all natural, that definitely makes me very unique when I make my own videos catering to that. And I say when I make my own videos because mainstream porn doesn't really do a lot with that kink or that fetish, but they do have a lot of bimbos. I'm not saying that they don't shoot a lot of bimbos. They just don't shoot like the fetish, like transformation aspect. And I've been doing a lot of role play in my videos around that with like the mental transformation aspect. But it's very niche, and not all websites can even upload it or talk about it because it's in that gray area of like what the website considers to be consensual or whatnot. So I definitely need to talk about some other things that are more, I guess, interesting to a broader audience. So let's see, what else? Well,
I mean, when I said
honestly,
you say the bimbo vacation, like, 'cause that's exactly when you said that, like, that's what I thought of like, the real big boobs, the like the big BBLs, the whole like looking like a Barbie doll. So you're saying that it's not all just that. There's, like it's like a lifestyle.
yes. So really, it depends who you ask. There are so many aspects to it. Yeah, if we're just talking about the basic definition of a bimbo, yes, you basically summed it up. But when we're talking about the lifestyle, for example, that blew up on TikTok, that is about more of just hyper femininity, and sometimes it's not even meant to be sexual. Sometimes it's just camp. But for me, it's just been such a big part of my journey into the person that I am, and helping me like gain confidence and like giving me courage and things like that, and like giving me like permission to be like bold and like loud in my like presentation and things like that. But as far as like what I'm good at in porn, I'm just constantly trying to improve everything that I'm doing. Like, for example, let's give blowjobs as an example, or like deep throating. I have been training myself to give better and better blowjobs, and I also have a record with a lot of my videos. I've filmed like training videos where I'm like, this is like part 1, part 2, I'm like training my throat, or I'm like using these like devices to like stretch out my jaw. I'm like literally trying to condition my body to be able to do more and more. And now I'm trying to do that with anal. Now I've started that process of going in that direction. So it's all about seeing what is possible.
Very interesting. And again, I didn't know like the whole lifestyle thing of it. I mean, it makes sense when you break it down. That shows my ignorance to it. I'm like, I didn't know much about that world, but there were people that were sending like, messages to me and DMing me, asking me questions about that stuff. And, a lot of those questions you answered right there during that whole thing. But I want to also talk about, because, I mean, we mentioned when we started off, you were a 3-time nominated AVN, but also not only that, but I mentioned about how you were a Hustle Honey, you're a Penthouse Pet. How did those things come about too? Like, I mean, it has to be, I mean, if I'm speaking for myself, but that has to be pretty, overwhelming to be like, whoa, like I just got picked for this. Like that's like a feather in your cap.
Right.
I mean, talk about confidence
Yeah.
and, building that self-esteem and everything, like to be getting all these, accolades and people wanting to do things with you. Take us through the emotions of that.
Yes. Let's see. The first thing I was nominated for was in 2023, I want to say. Yes. That was AVN 2023. I was fan nominated for Hottest Newcomer. And then in 2025, yes, I think that was when I had 2 nominations. One was a fan nomination for Unsung Darling, and I was AVN nominated for a girl scene that I was in with Mia Molotov and Olive Glass.
And then when they came to you to do like Penthouse, Hustler, what like did you like were you kind of like, all right, this isn't real, or like how did like when did it sink in that like, hey, this is legit, like this is the real deal?
Well, I guess, I mean, I kind of have moments like that a lot. I don't know if I had a specific, like, realization at that moment, like, when I got the job, but yeah, I was obviously, like, super excited. I'm like, this is a milestone. This is, like, really big.
Yeah, it is.
And like, also, a lot of people don't know that, like, Penthouse and Hustler, that they have, the porn aspects of their business. And one thing I can say that is interesting about those two companies, the way they shoot, is they will essentially shoot two different videos. One is hardcore and one is softcore. Both of these companies did this, and I'm not sure exactly what the point was. But based on the understanding that I've built up now, I think the softcore version is for other countries that have specific laws about porn where they can sell that there.
Yeah, there's probably laws and things that they can't do, and
Yeah, but that was really interesting, getting to like see that behind the scenes aspect and getting to be a part of that.
Now I'm old school, so I remember like when Hustler and like Penthouse were like legit magazines. Now was this in print form or is this like just digital?
I'm pretty sure it's just digital now, from what I understand. Yeah, and it seems that some of the directors who shoot the videos, they don't even know exactly like what qualifies as what as far as the titles, and because I was like, are these photos going to be like in the centerfold or something? And they were like, oh no, that's not a thing. Or they were like, I don't know. It's like they don't know what's going on.
I was just told to bring the camera and just shoot.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I'm like, well, I was just told to be hot and naked, so that's what I'm going to be. So
win-win. Everybody's winning.
Yes.
Now, one thing I got to ask, because I'm already going to give you what my answer would be. So a lot of fans, obviously you're big admirers of you, over almost 60,000 followers just on X and other streaming platforms and what have you. What is somebody, or what do people tell you, or something that they love about you? Like, what is something that people are just like, I just adore this about you? And then I'll tell you what instantly my answer is.
Okay. Well, let's see. So sometimes on my OnlyFans, I will get people who specifically will like send me like a message when they subscribe, telling me all the things about like how long they've been following me and what they love about me. And that's why I love running my own account, because I get to see those messages. And usually it's about like that they've seen my journey from where I started. And a lot of people have talked about that I seem to bring like a lot of enthusiasm to my scenes, and that I look kind of like the girl next door, but then they'll be surprised by then like how nasty I get in the video. And yeah, just kind of being that like good girl gone bad and doing it so well and so happily, I guess.
Well, I was going to say what my honest answer and what I love about you already. And I think it just grew on me now from just talking to you. If anybody's just been paying attention, the little giggle that you do when you answer these questions. So you do this like little laugh, and it's been like driving me insane. And it's funny because I just asked you the question, and then like she ends it with the little laugh, and I'm like, that's hot to me. But like, yeah, everything else I totally agree with what everybody else is saying too. Like, yeah, definitely love seeing you
People
naked.
have mentioned the giggle. Yes, they have.
I mean, love seeing you naked as well. Not gonna discredit that.
But
What
there are
is
a lot
some
of people that are naked, you know? You got to stand out,
true?
right?
This is true. Well, it's funny when you're saying about like being like nervousness and everything, and the first thing I thought of is like, when they tell you you're about to do like a big like speech or you got to speak in front of a crowd, you're like, imagine everybody naked. And I'm like, okay, well, what do you do if you're like on a porn set and everybody's already naked? Do you just imagine everybody clothed? The
Well, I
stupid
would
shit that
say
goes through my head.
that example doesn't really apply to me. Like, actually, recently I had a dream where, because sometimes, you know, it's normal for people to have like dreams where they'll be like, oh my God, I just realized I'm naked and I'm like in public, right? So I had one of those dreams recently, and in the dream, I was like, okay, I just realized I'm naked and I'm in this like doctor's office or somewhere. I don't know where I was, but I was like, okay,
Annual
these people
physical.
already, you're right. It was somewhere where I was in like a waiting room or something, and I was like, okay, these people already seem to be tolerating it, so I better just keep up like whatever confidence or like whatever playing it cool that I was doing and just keep doing that because it was already working and they were already ignoring or acting normal when I was naked. So I'm like, okay, I guess if I don't freak out, they won't freak out.
Nothing to see here,
That was,
just a naked chick, like, hey, it's normal. This is what we do,
yeah. So that
Speaking
was
of
in my
things,
dream recently.
speaking of things about what you do, won't do, I love asking guests like, what are some of their like kinks? What are some of their things that they enjoy doing? What are some of the things that you're just like not open to that? Or what are some of the things that you just haven't done that you want to kind of explore?
Uh, well, my answers to this do keep changing, I would say. What is something that I never want to do? Well, I'm never doing scat play. I will tell you that. I never intend to do any scat play. Um, but I have done piss play in some of my videos.
What's
But
that like though? Like, because I don't like, I wouldn't want to do that or scat, but like, what is like, what is the mindset in going into something like that?
well, let's see. So I've obviously, you may have, Googled me or whatever. You may not have seen all of my stuff, but there are
I've
some
seen a lot,
videos.
believe me. It's part of our researching team here. We've seen a lot.
So there are some videos of me getting peed on and getting it in my mouth and swallowing it. And I like that because I enjoy being submissive. So for me, the act of what's happening, the fact that it's, pee, piss, whatever you call it, that aspect of my brain is a little bit neutral, but the fact that I'm being submissive is the turn on. So I can get really into it when I look at it that way, essentially, if that
Gotcha.
makes
So
sense.
you're kind of almost like turning off the fact that it's like this is someone's like urine, their morning coffee or whatever, and it's going down your throat. Um, because of the submissive part.
Right, exactly. The submissive part allows me to get into that mindset, but I'm not necessarily like disgusted by it or anything. Like you were talking about like where it came from and whatnot, and I'm like, yeah. So
See, that's how you know
what?
you do what you do and I do what I do because I'm thinking of all this other stuff and I'm like, okay, like what if this tastes like really weird? Like did they drink a whole shitload of Gatorade? Was this like, like cranberry
Do you
juice?
want to know what it usually tastes like?
Yes. Well, I mean,
It tastes
well,
like
yeah, but
pretzels.
no. It tastes like pretzels?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
just in the form of water.
In the form of water. So you could
Yeah.
technically like bottle up people's piss and just market it as like pretzel water.
If that's a thing, sure.
If that's
Yeah, I
a
think
thing.
so.
I'm giving people all kinds of new ideas. People are like, you know what? This might actually work. No, now it's cruel that you say that because now like when I talk to other people and they tell me they're into like water sports and stuff, I could kind of ask them, I'm like, okay, well, what's it taste like to you? And then, I'd be like, okay, someone else told me, without me sounding like I'm just drinking everybody's piss here and, taking taste samples.
Someone told
Um,
me. I wasn't
yeah,
there.
yeah, I wasn't there. I don't have like a mini bar set up of like, urine samples. I'm not the doctor's office just, taking shots of like, drug tests. Um, but okay, so what is something though that you still kind of want to do? Like you mentioned about like getting into the whole like being able to deep throat and like getting prepped for like
So,
anal.
a thing that used to be a no that I'm working towards making this a yes is anal. And you've talked about me not watching a lot of porn. That's not totally true. I obviously, as soon as I got into watching porn, I, watched a lot of it,
You were like
and
nonstop.
yeah.
That's how most
And
of us
once
end up.
Right. Once I got into porn, then the kind of porn I was watching changed, because then my brain was like, okay, now I'm just picturing like this is a work day. I'm like, okay, now I need to look for a different kind of porn and whatnot. So I went through different like cycles of different types of porn and whatnot. But lately, what I watch is a lot of anal, and maybe that's just because I haven't really done it. So it's something that's like foreign to me, and so that makes it a turn on. But also, this came up in another interview where I mentioned that I like to watch anal, but I don't do anal, and he was like, "Oh, so you like to be scared?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah. How'd you know?"
I mean, shout out to him or her because I didn't, I wasn't picking up on that. But I did. Hearing that though, I can kind of like see where you're coming from because like clearly, like if you're doing what you see, you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, like for lack of better wording here, you kind of get like stale or bored with it. It's like every now and then you got to switch up your Spotify playlist. You know what I mean? You can't just listen to the
Exactly.
same thing over and over, and then you're like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna just put on this channel. I've never really listened to this before until you get excited about it.
Exactly. That's it. That's the perfect analogy. Yes. Where, like, especially with sex, because our brains really react to things that are taboo and things that aren't part of our day-to-day life. So, yeah, as soon as I started doing regular, mainstream porn, I couldn't watch those types of videos. And then I started watching more hentai or more amateur porn, etc. And yeah, now I've been able to start watching mainstream again, but specifically if it's like really hardcore stuff that I'm like trying to achieve, I'm like thinking of it like, okay, this could be me someday, and then I'm like coming thinking about it. Yeah.
Now, are there people that you want to collaborate with? Because obviously, like now that you have this huge following, Hustler, Penthouse, been AVN nominated. Like you are now known to some of these people. So like other people are out there like, hey, like I want to collab with her. But is there people that you want to collab with? And have you ever like met up and collaborated with somebody that where you're like, hey, this is something I want to do and I made it happen?
Well, somebody that I was able to collab with that felt like a super big deal is Johnny Sins, and I knew him from the meme. The meme. There's the
Mm-hmm.
bald guy, and
Yeah, yeah,
he's
yeah.
been a doctor and like every like job on the planet, and it's just like the same guy, and he does like the that there's that one expression, and he's like rubbing his hands together or whatever. Yeah. So I knew him
Mhm.
from the meme, and so I got to collaborate with him, and it was awesome. And as far as like collabs in general, because I'm still working on like building up my own platforms, I have like taken a break with doing like collabs for the time being, as I'm like trying to like build my platform. And then once I get to like that point where I have like all the fans and they're like begging for like more of like the boy girl collabs, then I'll do more like strategic collabs. Because when I first started in the industry, I was just collabing with like anybody, like people who didn't have a name or anything. I was just like, yes, anybody, let's go.
Starting out.
But now I'm like, I got to think it through and like, build up the following first, and then I will start looking at the collabs again. So I'm not going to like put any names out there because I don't want to like preemptively get people excited and then they're like, wait, where is it? What's happening? And I'm like, I don't know. You guys got to like put your money where your mouth is first and then we'll talk.
It's a good business mindset to have, like obviously you're starting out. So you're like, I'll just work with this guy, work with that guy. And then there's like, okay, now you know your worth, you know what the draw is and you know what people will want to see. And yeah, hey, I'm not going to hate the player. Don't hate the game. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Or hate the player, don't hate the game. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna knock your hustle for that. What's something you can tease though? Like it's like, because people are like, a lot of the messages that I did get from people, they were like, what is next? What's something she got coming out that I can kind of get excited about or look forward to?
Well, if they don't know that I'm doing anal solos on my OnlyFans, then they got to get over there because they're missing out, because I started with just like plugs in like my solos, and I've now started using bigger and bigger toys. Like you can see there's like a progression happening, and I have this one like really big toy that I can't take yet. But once I can, I'll be like, okay, now I can do it professionally. So they got to get over there so that they can, like, participate in the suspense of the build-up to see, like, when it's going to happen.
And I can say that, like, I think you can do it. I think you can do it. I have confidence in you. I think you can take it. But that's just me now, me being the pervert. So now we're both perverts, Now,
exactly. You're an honorary pervert.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta have like that Celeste pervs. You know what I mean? Like you gotta have like your own little fan base. Like they gotta have like a cool name, like the Pervs or something.
Exactly. They're my pervs. They're my stalkers. In a lot of my videos, I'm like, hello, stalkers. Welcome, stalkers.
That could be cute, and that could also be kind of scary too, though. Have you ever had any bad interactions?
Have I ever had any bad interactions?
Yeah, like fans, like you say, like my little stalkers and everything. It's like, oh yeah, that's cute. She calls them their little stalkers, but like people get really weird when it comes to porn. Like some people just don't know when like there's like a line, imaginary line that they just cross over it.
It's true. I don't want to dwell on that, and also I try not to even like keep them like taking up real estate in my memory, so I don't even think I'd be able to really go into detail. But yes, there obviously are occasionally people who don't understand boundaries and whatnot, and then I just have to like do my best to like, whether I have to like give them a warning or they don't listen and then I have to block them or whatever. You just take the actions that you can, but I've just had to accept that like my life will always be kind of like at risk of that, and so it just kind of is drowned out by the general anxiety of like the world at large. That's just one component of it. Like I could get hit by a bus, or stalker could like decide to like do a little more research or whatever. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's all true, but I can't think about that. I'm just trying to be a bimbo.
Well, I can say, we could all do a little bit more research here too, but when we say we're going to do a little bit more research, we're going to look into these solo anal clips that you have on your OnlyFans.
Exactly.
So that's a little bit more research we're trying to do. Now, are these customs? Like, can people kind of like pick the toy, or is this kind of like you've already kind of just recorded them and then people just download them?
I have pre-recorded ones, and customs are also available. Those are just more expensive, so not everybody can afford the customs, but they are also available. Yes.
Because I already want to have a custom. Like, I want to send you an MMB radio T-shirt. I want to send you a Mixmaster B T-shirt, and I'm like, we're gonna do one of these customs, but I want you wearing the T-shirt.
It would be probably like $700 or something. Off the top of my head, I'd have to look at my specific pricing, but just so people can
look
have
at
an
the
understanding.
Menu. Yeah, we'll look at the menu. We'll make this work. You know what I mean? Like we'll start a GoFundMe or something. Like somebody help make this happen. Like we need to see that Celeste in that shirt. So
Exactly. Let's make it happen. Come on, people.
now, what is you mentioned about like you have all these admirers and these fans and everything, but like what about people that you grew up with, people, family? Like that's always a big thing. Like have you had a close relationship now with your family? Obviously, like they were very strict, so I'm assuming maybe I'm an ass, for assuming, but are they not on board with what you do now?
So, yes, there's yes and no to all of that. Basically, I'm on good terms with everybody except my dad. I've mentioned that in a couple of my social media posts, like on TikTok and YouTube, and then some people have commented and been like, but what about your pops? I'm like, you don't know the story, but basically, he was the one who was the main person who was the controlling aspect, and yeah, he was not cool about what I wanted to do, but also he's not cool in general. So we don't care what he thinks.
Another win. You're just chalking up all the wins here. I love it.
Yes. So I have told everybody in my family what I do, or they found out, and they're all cool with it. They're all like part of my lives. We all live in different parts of the country, so I try to stay in contact with them as best I can. But the people who are on my OnlyFans also know it takes me a while to respond in general. So, like, if it takes me a while to respond to them and they're paying, just imagine how long it takes me to respond to, like, the family members that are, like, across the country and whatnot. So I try my best, but we're on good terms.
Love it, love it. So what's a normal day like for you? Like how often are you shooting, whether it be for your own platform or like anything that you have like with an agency? Do you get downtime? Like people love to know like what your social life is like. Do you get time to kind of be, in what non-porn world thinks as of a normal life?
So the thing that I think is unique about my life and about people in porn is that not every day looks the same, because like a lot of people will have, their 9 to 5 where kind of every day looks the same. And for me, it's really hard to predict what any day is going to look like. Like, for example, if somebody wants to do something on a specific day and they're like, what's your schedule going to look like? I'm like, I don't know. I could be booked to go on a porn set, but that may or may not happen that day. It happens randomly. But when I'm not on a porn set, I am running my own platforms, and that is a lot of sitting at a desk, which is not the glamorized image that people visualize. That I'm actually just sitting at a desk and doing so much admin work, doing editing, doing the uploading, adding tags, responding to my fans, all of those things. That takes up a surprising amount of time. But when I'm not doing that, then I'm filming the videos that will then be edited and uploaded, and I have to obviously do social media and like all of those things. And then, yeah, there's the personal life that I have to balance with that as well. And then it's also the struggle of trying to decide how much of my personal life I'm like sharing with, the public, and like how much I compartmentalize, and that changes each day. Like on one day I might be like, no, I'm going to go fully in character and I'm not going to share anything about my personal life. And then there might be another day where I'm just like, I have zero effort, so I'm not putting on like any makeup. You're going to see the real me, and there's going to be stuff in the background, and etc.
You mentioned the social medias, and we would like to always make sure we get all the right social medias. Where can people find you at if they want to be the little pervs and, watch your content?
Yes, all the little pervs should definitely follow my ex at Celestina Blooms. But to make it easier, I now also have another ex called at That Celeste. To make it simple, that one will have more direct links to where they can support me. And let's see. My Instagram is at Celestina Blooms Official. And then I also have, obviously, my OnlyFans that we've talked very much about. That is the same username as my Twitter, so at Celestina Blooms. And then my free OnlyFans is the same username as my Instagram, so it's at Celestina Blooms Official. But basically any time where you spell out that, you don't have to spell it out perfectly correctly, it should come up, especially if you put it into Google, and if you put like porn or adult or whatever, it will come up. All the links
Google
will
knows
come up.
what's
And
up.
I also
Even
have,
Google knows.
exactly. Oh, and I completely forgot to mention, because you were asking about big things that are coming out. I'm going to have a website on my .com, because I have a .com at the end of my name, and that used to just be my link tree. That used to just lead people to the link tree, which had, all the platforms that we've been talking about, but it's not actually it's not launched yet, but it is in the works. I will have my own website that will be selling my own produced videos.
Very awesome. Very awesome. And that was another quick question I wanted to ask, too, because you mentioned about selling the videos. People were asking, too, like they wanted to buy, I guess, like used things from you, whether it been, clothing or toys or anything. Is that something that you do or would be open to doing?
Yes, that is something that I do. And the best place to look for that would be on Snack Shop LA. That is the name of the website that I am partnered with. I know the person who runs it. It used to be called something else and used to be run by somebody else, but a friend of mine took it over and changed the name to Snack Shop LA, Snack Shop La, whatever you want to call it. That's how you spell it, Snack Shop LA. If you type that in, that will have used clothes, used toys, and I don't know if there's a message feature on there, but in either way, there should be a way to get in contact if they want something specific. Then I can send stuff over there.
Yeah, I mean we're checking it out now. I mean we got a purple vibrator. This is used? This is something that people can say that is touch the body?
Yes, and actually that one was in a video where before they changed the name of the website, I actually had filmed a solo where I literally was saying in the video that I literally put the stuff in the bags at the end of the video, and I was like, this is where you can find it. But that's not the name of the site anymore, so that video has totally gone to waste. But yes, there is proof, and if they look on my OnlyFans, they can find that video. It just says a different name of the site, but it's the same site.
Oh, okay. Well, is there anything else that we didn't cover or talk about? Like, I feel like we could talk to you forever, but I mean, I know we all have schedules to make sure we stay on. But is there anything else that you want the fans to know that I didn't get a chance to touch base on?
Oh, I don't know. We really covered so much. We talked about where I'm going, where I'm from, what they can be excited about. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like we covered a lot in short time. I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like you get on a flight and it's like it's a 6-hour flight, and the next thing you know, you're like, well, we're here. We went from A to Z pretty quickly. We're excited to see. I can tell all the people listening that I have no intentions of leaving this industry for as long as I can foresee. Like, for as long as I can picture in the future, I imagine to still be doing this. Well, we're excited to see and hear more from you. We're going to stay on top of these socials and keep up with that one big toy there that you just, you're like, I can't take it. We all have your back here. We're all encouraging you. You can do this. I mean, it's like we got the Winter Olympics going on. You can do that. Go for the gold. Well, we wish you all the success in the world, and we thank you for taking the time to talk to us. It's been really cool getting the chance to talk to you and get to know you on a deeper level. We got to come back on again.
Yes, 100%. I would love to be back.
Awesome. Well, we want to hear more from you, so hit us up. Let us know when you'll be back, and if you let me ask too, like, do you do any tours? Like, have you done any of these conventions? Because people also ask that. I want to make sure I get that out there because people want to know if you travel. Do you do any of the conventions or anything?
Not regularly. I don't regularly go to the Expos or Exoticas, or at least not at any level that I could promote it. But usually I am at AVN because that one is like closer to home base. So the AVN conventions are usually where they can run into me.
There you have it. Well, again, we wish you all the success in the world, and we can't wait to hear from you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Hello, everybody. I'm Celestina Blooms, but you can refer to me as That Celeste. I am here today with Mixmaster B on MMB Radio.